Hello YouTubers, and today we will be looking at some War Thunder footage where I'll be giving some tips and tricks on War Thunder, some do's and don'ts, some good gameplay, some bad gameplay, and reasons why I get kills and reasons why I fail. At the start of battles I always like to gain altitude, make sure you're not the lowest person on the map, as you will be the easiest target. This is important in a few ways, as if you're low, people can always have a speed advantage over you. People can always take you by surprise because it's not the easiest thing to constantly be looking around you if you're engaged in some other battle or some other aspect of the game. If you're high, people have to fly up to you, therefore losing speed, making themselves easy targets. And you can always have a speed advantage over your enemy, and a height advantage, as we see here. This guy won't have seen me until I actually start engaging on him. He pulls off a good manoeuvre there in order to end up with me in front of him. Luckily I managed to climb high and take another pass at him instead as he turned. I bide my time, and I always like to wait until I'm within 400, 500 meters in order to engage and start firing, as it's the most effective way to get sustained damage on your enemy. Firing from a distance, you may end up with one hit or two hits maybe, but the likelihood is that you don't get a kill from it and you'd have to continue to chase. It's always better to have the aspect of surprise on your enemy. And you can keep sustained fire on them when you're close. Constant damage, it gives them less chance to evade. I'm constantly looking around me, making sure I know where the enemy is. Never fly into a group of enemy players, as it's likely to end up in getting you killed. Just bide your time and make sure you have chosen your enemy and the enemy hasn't chosen you. Constantly everywhere of surroundings. Never give up altitude unnecessarily. It is your friend, and keep it as much as possible. Unfortunately, this poor soul over here is headed straight into enemy territory and is likely to come out in a coffin. There are too many enemies over there and he is alone. As you can see, I'm using free look to be aware of my surroundings. I know the distance of the enemies. I'm constantly keeping an eye on the numbers to see whether a plane is headed towards you or headed away from you. And don't be focused on looking at one person, look at all of them. Make sure none are trying to surprise you and headed in from a different direction, whilst maintaining your altitude at all times. As we can see, that P-63 is getting a bit closer. I'll head away from him as he has friends nearby. I'll head over to the other side of the map where I know there are enemies as well. Constantly keeping an eye on them. At this point, I know I've got enough altitude. I know that if somebody tries to engage me, I can probably evade them. Now this Typhoon is within 1 kilometer now, so he will be my next target. I'm making sure I get a good angle on him. I know which direction he's headed. I also notice I have a friendly there, so I don't want to get in his way, and I want to anticipate that this guy will try and evade. Therefore I'm pulling to the right first, wait until I'm within distance. I didn't have a clean aim at him, so I waited, bide my time, and easily get the kill. One point I would like to add in before this next piece is that when engaging an enemy, when firing an enemy, You want to be within 400, 500 meters, and in my opinion, the targeting reticule that leads the target is off. I'd say it's off by about 10%. So I always lead my targets an extra 10% from what the reticule says. And whether you guys believe me or not, it is better. Just lead the target, nice critical hits, sustained fire on the enemy, and we get the kill. At this point here now, I will end up in a turning fight. In a turning fight, it is vital that you are not easy to hit, even when he's behind you. As soon as you see that he's about to get an angle on you, you drop or gain altitude as much as you can, just before he's got the angle. You'll notice I do it here. As soon as he can get an angle, see, I drop. So he can never get sustained fire on me. At this point here, I drop my throttle, if I remember. Yep, drop my throttle and allow him to get past me. As soon as he gets past me, I will know I can get a shot on him. Like right here. Although I miss, I would have had a shot and would have killed him if I'd have had better aim. Now here comes a part of bad gameplay. I am not looking at my surroundings. I am not checking the distances. And this is what happens when you're not doing that. Bye-bye plane. And that is an example of how not to play the game. Or a fast track to death. I'll now bring out my better plane. This is my favourite plane at the moment. It's a Spitfire Mark 16. Put some decals on it. And here again, we're constantly looking around. I should have learned my lesson and be looking around constantly, but I don't seem to be doing so. There we go. Free look happens. Gaining advantage of height now. Making sure that I've got a height advantage, making sure I'm not the lowest guy there. Now I know this is a reasonably safe area to go to, as I have a lot of friendlies around. There are enemies, but they're engaged otherwise by other people. You see then, my targeting reticule was bang on the leading target reticule then, and I didn't get hit. That goes to prove my theory. An extra 10% ahead of the targeting reticule will get you hits. Now I see this diving target. Luckily for me, I had height advantage as well, so I was able to go down without getting too close to the ground. But I know straight away that there's enemies behind me. I need to pull away and reevaluate the situation. Now there's a lot of enemies coming in here. I would be very silly if I were to fly straight to them. I realise with this guy that he's got a height advantage, he's got a speed advantage. Even though my reticule is there, I will not fire because he's just too far away. There is no chance I would kill him. And it'd be pointless to get him engaging on me unnecessarily. Keeping an eye on him, making sure he's otherwise engaged, and then I will turn. Constantly looking around, making sure we're not being engaged. There's an example of ramming right there. Now it's time to engage. I'm going to pick my target carefully. That extra 10% got me the hit. Now he had too much speed, so he was unable to turn to get my friendly. Sustained fire, the extra 10% gets me the kill. Here we go now. I believe there is a group heading down to engage one of my friendlies. We have to be very careful here. I choose to pull out as there's too many of them. Tightly knit together, that's just a dangerous place to be. Unfortunately, my friendly is likely to die here. Notice here how I engage the last man. If you engage the first man, men number 2 and 3 can always engage you, so always try and engage the last one in a trail. Unfortunately, this guy overtook the other one. But I should be able to get my shots off before I get fired upon. Make sure you have a clear shot before you fire. Unfortunately I hit a friendly there. He did fly into my firing path, so it wasn't the easiest to avoid. I knew that this guy was chasing my friendly as well, so I was able to anticipate his move to carry on following. There's another kill, and this poor soul on the ground is a dead man too. I get engaged here from behind, if I remember correctly, and it's vital that you make yourself a difficult target when someone's chasing you. You'd be surprised how many people actually fly straight when you're being chased. Notice here how I weave and never face straight, and this allows him, well, this forces him to have the speed advantage and overtake me, allowing me to take a shot at him. And a nice quick easy kill there too. I'm still being engaged from behind, so I'll continue to not fly straight, constantly moving around. At this point my plane is pretty knackered, but hopefully I can evade him just enough for a teammate to take him out, or for him to fly straight past me. And there we go, he's gone past me. Unfortunately, he has a big speed advantage over me, so I'm unable to keep up with him, and end up making a stupid mistake of trying to turn a tight turn towards a mountain when my plane is pretty knackered, and fail miserably. Never try and turn like that when cliffs nearby with a battered plane. It's not the best choice. Alright, continuing on to my third choice of plane, if I ever decide to leave this one. When respawning, it's always good to try and get a lay of the land, as it were, or the lay of the air, and trying to see which part of the map is heavily engaged by enemy players. It's always better to pick off a lone soul instead of going chasing into a group of 5 and hoping to come out with 1 kill for 1 death. It's kind of a pointless exercise. Notice how this guy now is in a bomber, he's likely to do quite some damage if I keep flying straight, and also my friendly is in a line directly between me and the enemy, so it's quite awkward. I'll always try and give leeway to friendlies, but sometimes things like that happen which are just too damn close, so I'll pull away. I was getting very close to him anyway, so you pull away, get another angle on him and go again, doing some significant damage. The enemy's gunner is unconscious now, or at least one of them, so I'll be taking less fire. But as we picked a lone enemy, it's a good situation to be able to chase, and you're not getting engaged, so it's fine to just keep chasing. You will eventually get the kill, as long as you don't get engaged yourself, or fired upon by a very expert gunner. And there we go, another one down. Okay, so for the end of this video, let's just make a quick summary of what we've learnt or heard about. Number 1, know your surroundings, enemy distance to you, whether the numbers are going up or down, their height, and constantly using free look to do this, making sure that basically you're not going to be the next victim for the enemy. Step number 2, choose the appropriate target, preferably alone. Whether he has seen you, it's better if you engage somebody that you think hasn't seen you, or you can take by surprise. Number 3, when dealing with friendlies around, when you're engaging an enemy, anticipate what your friendlies are going to do, anticipate what the enemy's going to do in order to avoid collisions and to basically be a better teammate. You don't want to be getting in the way of other people if you can avoid it. Number 4 is ensure that when firing you're at a distance of 400-500 meters to be effective. At bigger ranges than that you're unlikely to be effective because you'll get one hit, maybe two, and it's just not good really. It's letting the enemy know that you're there. And if you get into a turning battle, make sure you're constantly moving and staying out of sustained fire. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much.